We are here with a very special guest, and you will find out why we say she's very special during this video.
For context, she has been on board the ships of Mercy ships for almost 20 years, which is incredible. So she has a lot of things and experiences and funny things and maybe some tips to share with us. So
we want to introduce to you Carys Parker. We will be having a conversation like we used to have on the ship, drinking some tea in our cabin. And well, I hope you enjoy.
Let's go!
Thanks for having me. I'm Carys, and yeah, as they said, I've been here nearly 20 years, but most of those years I was a child, so you don't think I'm like 50 years old. I think I was 6 weeks old, or 6 to 8 weeks old when I first came here with my parents, and my parents actually met on the ship back in the 80s and got married in the 90s, and then they raised myself and my brother on the Anastasis, the Africa Mercy. Both of those ships, and now I'm working on the Global Mercy. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's a bit about me.
Do you remember how it was when you were 6 weeks old? You came to board?
I remember it was dark, and then it was light. No, wait,
No,
it's not
it
even
wasn't.
6 weeks, but hopefully not 6 weeks old. But I do remember being a child on the ship. So I just remember like a ton of games and hide and go seek and laughing and just playing with the other kids. It was a very different kind of ship. It was a ship, that was just a lot smaller, and so the community was a lot more crammed together, and so you were always around people, always playing, always laughing, and it was all I knew. So I don't think I ever really thought like I'm so lucky to be here, but looking back, I really was, because I was always around my friends, always around people who were investing in me. Traveling on the Anastasis, we traveled every couple months.
Wow.
So that was really cool to be, and I was down in the wards. My parents would bring me down to hang out with the patients since I was a baby. My dad, when he's a doctor, so he would go down, and as he was doing rounds, he would just like take me, and the patients would just hold me, and I just feel like it was such grace, because I wasn't doing anything, but I was just receiving such love from every type of person, from every type of background. And
so how was to grow up on the ship? Like, you study on the ship on board, like how that works?
So we have a Mercy Ships Academy, and so I went through that system, that school, from preschool, nursery, until I graduated at 18. I was one of 3, and actually graduated with the current principal, who's the principal here on the Global Mercy. He was also my principal on the Africa Mercy, which is kind of fun.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. He graduated me, and now I'm here and I'm working. It's just so strange. I can't call him anything but Mr. Calvert. I loved it. I think that I have no regrets. There were things that like we missed out on. As ship kids, people often say you're so sheltered, and I actually don't like that phrase, because I feel that we were sheltered from some things, but really actually exposed to many other things. So yeah, we didn't have the sports and the basketball games and driving your own car at 16, which is very common in America, and all these things like but we did have like every day after school I could go down to the wards and hang out with amazing patients, and I could go out to a new country every couple months, and I could learn from all different kinds of people from all different countries. So there was like, I had no regrets, because while we didn't have some things, we had a lot of other things. I think that there's a lot of goodbyes. I was one of the only kids who stayed like the entire time. It is normal to have families stay for several years, but my family's been here like 36 years or something. So I remember that part being, maybe that's more personal to my own life experience and not to the Mercy Ships Academy. But I remember it was a beautiful thing, but then also preparing myself for goodbyes like every year to know that my friends probably won't be around for very long. So that's hard, but it also taught me to be adaptable and to say like, what does friendship have to look like? Is it worth it, even if it's just for a season? Can that be worth it? And I believe it can be. And so I think I really enjoyed it, but it was just, again, I thought it was normal. So people would always ask me, what is it like to go to school on a ship? And I was like,
it's normal
like,
for you.
what else is there? And it wasn't until going to university that I was like, oh, wow, like it was a very different
The outside world.
Yeah.
So how was for you when you got to university outside the ship?
Yeah.
Like,
it was not easy, because I had
shock.
Yeah, it was culture shock. Like I remember showing up, and this is where the shelter thing does come in, because I was exposed to a lot of different things here, but then not others. And so by the time I got to university, I was just not at the same, like I didn't know the language and the pop culture and the movies and like and they were innocent, like they weren't detrimental to my life at college, but it just took me a while to be like, okay, I'm not an international kid, and I'm a third culture kid, and yet like not exactly like these third culture kids who lived in one country, and or from one country then grew up in another. I'm a ship kid, really. And so it just took, it's its own thing. So it just took a long time. It took me like a good year or two of really learning. It was really the first time I experienced pain that was that deep. I had grown up witnessing pain, and our patients go through a lot as they're receiving these surgeries, and I had always enjoyed getting to be there for them in that process, but I had never experienced like my own pain. So I felt like that was like the experience. I was like, okay, God, I've seen you at work in the fun and the beautiful and the mercy ships, and like, wow, but can I actually hold on to you when life isn't going how I want it to go, and I'm lonely and I'm homesick and I just wanted to come back here. So it took a couple years of patience and waiting for that place to become my home, but it did.
Where did you go?
Whitworth University. Studied theology and psychology. Part of why I studied that was because I wanted to come back here, and I wanted to work. I already knew, I didn't know exactly if it was going to be like a pastor or a chaplain, but I knew that I had grown up watching my dad take care of outer tumors, and I was really like amazed by that, but I was more drawn to the inner tumors, realizing that both matters. Like the physical healing matters, but also you could have your tumor removed and then go back to life and get sick again, and what is going on in your heart also matters, that you feel that you're loved and that you have value and that your relationships are reconciled. So that's why I wanted to study that part, so I could come back and participate in that holistic healing that Mercy Ships is so good at offering.
I had a question. Can you explain a little bit what your parents did on ship and why they've been here for 36 years?
Yeah, like backtrack.
Yeah, and my question is, how was your view of your parents when you were growing up and they were doing their thing here on the ship and all over Africa and different places of the world? And how is your view of them now? And how did that made your perspective? I don't know.
Yeah. Oh, great questions. So my parents, Susan Parker and Dr. Carys Parker. So my dad's a maxillofacial surgeon here on the ship. He's been here both of them. My mom likes people to know she was here a week before my dad. 1 week before.
They are legends.
Legends. They are to me. That's my answer to your question. Is like, I think of them as legends, and I still do. And so my mom has worked many different jobs. That she started out as Mercy Ships used to be part of YWAM, and so she was the discipleship training school director. So she was doing a lot of teaching and discipleship for young people that came on the ship. So she had quite an intense role and gave it up to take care of Wesley and I. And she was really good at that job, and I know that she loved it, but she said she also loved taking care of us, so she gave that up, and then she started to take on many other roles, like hospital chaplain director. She was the senior crew chaplain for a while. She was like the executive managing assistant, and lots of different jobs she's done, all while raising my brother and I. And then my dad was the maxillofacial surgeon, and chief medical officer for a while, and managing director for a while. So they just had a rich history, and growing up, I don't think I realized, like, my family didn't set out to say we're going to be people who stay on the ship 35 years, and like we weren't. I don't know, now that I'm on the ship and people talk about my parents like this, and it's true, but at the time I don't think I realized, because we were still starting out. We'd only been there a couple years or whatever it was, and so I don't think I thought of them in the term of like their popularity, but I saw them as people who cared deeply and who worked really hard, and that my dad was like, he was either giving everything to the patients, and then as soon as he'd come back at like 10 or 11 at night, he'd be super tired, but he'd come immediately to help me with my homework, help my brother with his homework, read books to us. My mom also, same thing, would work hard all day and then come and always have time for us. And so I just saw them as people who, like, I mean, not to quote Mercy Ships' values, but who lived with excellence, really in every area of their life. It wasn't just what you see on the outside, like on the inside in our cabin. They also gave everything to us. And so I still see them as legends, my heroes. And I'm glad my dad's flying back right now. He's coming tonight. So.
Oh my goodness!
Wow.
I just love to hear all of that. Like, yeah. So as you have been saying, you've been traveling around a lot of countries and living them, and so what's like your favorite part of that? Like how that affects you? Like to see all different contexts and backgrounds, and
Another great question. But I would say being endlessly curious is, I think, something that travel cultivates and deepens in you. Because you don't travel and say, like, cool, at least I don't think that you travel and say, oh, cool, good, check that off, and now I'm done. It only helps you realize how much more there is to see.
Absolutely.
And how little I know. And that's how I feel about the Bible, ironically, as well. Is that, like, the more I read it, the more I'm like... And so I feel that way about traveling. I just feel like it reminds me that I don't have to always be right, and I'm probably not always right. So I think I find traveling to not only be a fun experience, but it's a very humbling experience, and it keeps me grounded, because I realize, like, this is how I've come to see this truth or this idea or this concept, but look at this person who sees it differently, and yet look, their life is also filled with joy, and it just reminds me to be open to how God is outside of the box, rather than in the box that we put him in sometimes. So I think that's why there's so many reasons. Also great food, also probably second favorite reason, but that's my main reason, is it keeps me, like, curious, and hopefully keeps me keeps humbling me as I realize there's more to learn.
Do you know how many countries did you visit in your
Good
lifetime?
question.
Or?
It's a great, yes, I have a list. I think I'm at 36 or 7, which doesn't seem like a lot.
Yeah,
I feel like
you have to. But you have to explain that. Why?
Yeah, because it doesn't feel like a lot, because we repeat, countries like over and over and over. So I've traveled my whole life, but not often got, like, even here, Sierra Leone, I've been here like 5 times. So 4 or 5 times. So it's a new experience for me as an adult being here, but I'm not adding a new country to my list.
Yeah.
But there's something I love, because it's, like, connected with what you were saying, like, how deep can you go, like, more and more. It's like, I just love to go for a second time to a country. It's like, okay, I didn't see that last time, or like whatever.
Yeah,
so
that's a good point.
I love that.
To see it again, and to not just think like you've checked it off the list.
Yeah.
So how can you check a country off the list? Yeah.
So as we were mentioning, we used to mention in other videos or in other moments, community life, the life of the experience of sharing with so many people from so many different countries on board the ships is a very important part of being here.
Yeah.
So how did you see these, and how did it affect you? How did you like it? Or what's your favorite part for me?
So good. I mean, this is why I keep coming back. It's twofold, because it's like the work we're doing, but also I know we're able to do this work because we're a community that loves and serves God, and we're empowered, and we are willing to say that there's a lot of NGOs in the world, but what I love about Christian NGOs specifically is that we choose to say we need help. And actually we don't think we can just do this on our own human ability. And so for me, like, this is a community that is not only fun and you have friends all the time and all these great things. You can find that maybe not as easily accessible, in the sense of, sure, other places you might not have friends as closely knit as this group, but you'll still find friends. But will you find a community of friends that have the same goal and the same God and are motivated by the same things? Like, that is really special, and that's harder to find, I think. If anything, I walk around and always tell people, I wish I would have had more time to spend with you, because there's not like one person I've met that I'm like, oh yeah, I don't really want to hang out with you. Like, everyone has such an interesting story and cares so deeply, and I'm not trying to say that you don't find those people in the world, but I think people who are here are special, because they're ready, and they're ready to serve, they're willing to serve, and they care about something other than themselves and other than their own little world. They want to be a part of what God is doing, and so that's what I love about it. And sometimes it's tiring. Sometimes it is, because there are days you just wish it could be easy and your friends were all around you. And that's not my life. Like, my friends are all over the world, and I often just see them in little bubbles of time. So, but I think it's worth it.
Maybe helps you to value time.
Yeah,
How
that's
you
true.
use your time.
Yeah.
Thank you for the time.
Yeah.
That's great.
Wonderful.
Loving to hear you.
Yeah, oh my goodness.
So much wisdom in 29 years.
Wow.
Oh, sorry, I said your
You
age.
didn't say your age.
Ruben.
That's an important point.
Cut that.
Well, I'll just say, I love being interviewed by you. You are the type of people that, just like I was sharing, are the type of people I wish I could spend more time with. That I'm like, I know how quickly it goes. But like, even these moments, like, you had my parents and us over, And it's those intentional times of being together that like stick out to me. And so even just like getting to share, because you can walk around and see people all day but not actually talk about what's really going on. So I, cherish your guys' friendship and hope that our paths do keep crossing in the most unexpected places.
I'm sure.
As they do.
The opportunity to go deeper is great.
Yeah.
Of course.
So we know that you're getting married in 2 months. Is that correct?
Oh, I hope it's 2.5 months.
So in 2.5 months.
Yes, it's 2.5 months.
Which is a long time.
I hope, because I am so behind on wedding planning. Because ship life is so consuming. You
my
forget
gosh.
there's another life out there. And Graham
Yeah.
my fiance thought he was like marrying someone who would be like probably all into the planning, and I'm like,
Nope.
I'm not, but we are gonna get there. 2.5 months,
sure.
we will get married, no matter if there's chairs or tables or not.
What are your thoughts? Like, are you thinking about like having still mercy ships in your life, or like even your children? I don't know. Just hearing about all your stories, like wow. So what's gonna happen? It's like a very big crucial moment. Yeah. Big
Next
step.
chapter.
Yeah, threshold moment. So Graham, who's my fiance, we met on the Africa Mercy. It's another ship story. I just followed my parents' example.
Another
And
ship couple.
We love that.
boat, yeah. I think because we met on the Africa Mercy and we were friends for a long time and reconnected, and I ended up receiving a fellowship to go study where he lives in Scotland. So that was amazingly timed, I feel like, by God. But so I think because the ship is really what drew us together and what our shared passion was, that I know that we're going to always be connected to the ship. I don't know yet if it's going to be like long term, but I know that we've both talked about short term coming back and kind of being in a pattern of like, maybe it's every year we come back for just a few weeks or whatever it is. And then I told Graham, if we ever do have children, I would love it if for at least one season of their life they come. Because I think, I'm really excited to move into his country and to embrace his culture, but I think that it would be strange to have children that never truly know where I come from. And I don't have a country to bring them to that is actually home. I have this place. And I always tell people that, because they're like, oh, but it's not the same community that you grew up in. And I'm like, it's true. But the thing about what I've been sharing about community, a community that loves God and has the same goals, is that even when it's different people, the spirit is still the same. The mission is still the same. So for me, like, community and home isn't just about the same people in the same location. It's about the mission. It's about what we do, and it's about who we serve. And that's what creates, for me, a sense of home. So I would love to bring them one day. Graham, if he's watching, he's probably like, oh my gosh. But that's the goal. We will find a happy compromise. And I'm gonna, for now, I know that I'm getting married and I'm going to live in Glasgow, Scotland.
So excited! I want to see that. Cool. So to finish this video, what you don't know is that she is actually the real YouTuber here. We're just hosting her.
No.
So we want to know about your YouTube channel, like how did that start, and I don't know.
Your ideas and all the videos I've made, you have hundreds, thousands of videos.
I don't know about being a real YouTuber. I literally just showed up on the ship with a phone. I was motivated because it was really scary for me to move from the ship to America, from ship to shore, and I remember just scouring the internet and being looking for anything that would give me an idea of what school, college in America would be like, because I was nervous. I never lived off the ship, and so for me, it's and it's the reverse experience for people coming here. For some people are thinking it's going to be crazy. Is this a pirate ship? What is this? And so my mom, I'll give credit to my mom, because I was talking about this idea, how hard it is, and I wish there was stuff, and she was like, why don't you make vlogs rather than, I was thinking I would write. And she was like, let's be honest, you're not that great a writer. Why don't you make vlogs? And I was like, yes. So I like sharing verbally more than writing, so that was...
And you're great at it.
Well, thank you. Though, if you watch my first vlog where I was so scared, it took me 3 hours to make my first vlog. And it's amazing how, for me, this has been, I don't want to be dramatic, but vlogging has almost become this spiritual experience, because I've learned to trust my own voice and to actually discern what God is sharing. I hope what God is sharing with me, and be willing to share it. And I never had such an opportunity to just keep being forced to talk my thoughts out. And vlogging has been a huge, I think, gift God gave me to teach me confidence and to teach me to share. Not only the ship world with people who are coming, and I hope that it provides them comfort and excitement, but also for me, it's been very cool to learn. And so I just make little videos with my little phone, but it is a fun time. And I'll miss doing that. I'm trying to get as many out now as I can before I leave. So.
Well, you can do it in a new life. Now
and you can you're
stage.
taking on the baton of YouTube because their channel, which you're watching obviously right now, is amazing. And I'm so glad. I always said, like, I don't know why more people aren't sharing about this on YouTube, because it's the second largest search engine in the world. So I don't know. So I'm just really glad you guys are doing that, because I think it's a way to connect with an audience that might never have known about the ship. So, and about what we do, and that there's another way of life. So yeah. So keep doing it. You guys got it.
The legacy. You guys go check that out and enjoy it. It is wonderful. A lot of experiences, more of those experiences that she has been sharing with us. Thank you so much for sharing all of this with us. I'm being very inspired. I'm like watching the video right now. I'm like, wow, I love it.
Thank you for opening and sharing.
Thanks for taking the time to ask.
Of course.
Because like you're creating an intentional moment right now. I won't forget taking my mental memory. So thank you. And you come visit me in Scotland sometime.
Oh, yes.
We'll do a vlog when we get there with you.
I love it. I can't wait. I'll be there. Yay! Well, thank you so much. This has been really fun. I really enjoyed this. You guys are so fun and easy to talk to, and just such a special couple. So I'm honored to be in your beautiful cabin and home.
Home.
Yeah. What's your home? Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hope you liked. Remember to like, share.
Oh yeah, right.
Like, share, subscribe, push the bell.
Hit the bell.
Hit the I
Hit the
don't know what the kids say. Do all those things and don't miss out.
Bye. Love it.